I don't know, man. If I have one more bad day at work, I don't know. I think I might do something terrible. I think I might. Slash out.
What's going on, guys? This is Slash Out Reviews, where I talk all things horror, but I have a special taste for slashers. And yeah, you're right. If this were a horror movie, I would be the prime suspect. Today I'm going to review Clown in a Cornfield, which is the newest slasher film to just hit theaters. It's directed by Eli Craig, who also gave us Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which was one of the funniest horror comedies I've ever seen. A Clown in a Cornfield is based on a book series, but I did notice that there's a lot of similarities in some scenes that seem to pay homage to past horror films. The opening of this film is very reminiscent to the opening of Jaws. You know, you got these teens that are kissing and drinking and doing drugs around the campfire. The camera pans to two other teens that are going to venture off into the cornfield. You know, they're doing something they probably shouldn't be doing, and one of them ends up dead. Now, this movie does play into some of the classic horror tropes. You know, you got the main character, Quinn. She's a teenage girl, and she has a rocky relationship with her dad. And they're trying to get a fresh start after the death of her mother. So they move into the small town of Kettle Springs, and things start to take a bit of a troublesome turn when she gets in the wrong crowd. Now, pretty much all the adults in the town hate the teenagers that she gets involved with because they blame them for causing the fire that burned down the factory in the town that caused a whole lot of jobs and a whole lot of money. Now, we'll go ahead and say that I did like this movie, but there's really nothing new here. Which I'm not going to say that's a bad thing in this case. I did like the movie. But it's really one of those you just get your drink, get your popcorn, you sit down, turn your brain off for an hour or two, and just enjoy some really cool kills. Now, there are a lot of people trying to compare this to The Terrifier. And this movie is honestly nothing like that. You know, you're not going to get anyone just sawed in half, you know. But if you want a cool clown movie without all the overdone gore, this movie could be for you. Which I'm not going to say some of the kills aren't pretty gruesome. There's one scene in particular that I think was actually in the trailers, but we see a character get his head cut off while he's doing a bench press. The comedy was actually pretty good in this movie. I feel like we got some of that same kind of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil style jokes, and everyone landed for me. There's one scene in particular where these two girls are trying to get away from the killer, and they go upstairs in the house and they see an old rotary phone. They try to phone for the police, and neither of them knows how to actually use the rotary to dial 911, and it kind of goes to show how some of these Gen Zers nowadays have never seen one of those or even know how to use one. Will Sasso was also in this movie, and he's one of the most underrated actors. I've always loved him since the Mad TV days. He's a really funny guy. He plays the town sheriff in this movie, and he's one of the people that hate the teenage kids the most. Now, this movie does seem to have some loose ends that don't really seem to be tied up by the time the credits roll. But I know there are two more books in the Clown in a Cornfield series, so maybe we'll get a trilogy out of this. I would not really mind seeing that. I'm always here for some slasher films. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and make it short and sweet. Clown in a Cornfield will be getting an I will be right back review, because I will be back whenever this movie comes out on Shudder. I will be watching it again, and that is my 3 out of 5. So if you're bored, you want to see a good slasher film, go check this out in theaters. And thank you for tuning in to Slash Out Reviews. If you want to show some support, please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned because I will be posting videos every week.
I don't know, man. If I have one more bad day at work, I don't know. I think I might do something terrible. I think I might. Slash out.